Alright, y'all, good morning. Last night was actually a pretty slow night, but we did wake up with a few calls this morning. Some people asking for tows, and I'm like, I don't really understand when people come and tell me that tows are too expensive. I'm like, ma'am, this is a service. You got insurance, fuel, all of that stuff that goes into it. People got to get paid. It's more than just you paying a price at this point. There's another person that does roadside assistance in the Atlanta area, and his name is KC. He made a video not too long ago about respect the price. The price is what the price is. Like, a lot of people don't see what goes into making a whole business complete. Like, I'll be transparent. For me to run my commercial insurance, which is a COI, or if you want to call it commercial insurance, but to have a COI, it's time for renewal. Renewal is July 9th, which is in a couple of days. Progressive wants $25,000. And I asked them, why is it so high? We don't have no insurance claims, never had one, nothing. You know what they tell me? Georgia had a rate increase. So y'all need to understand what the price is what the price is. It's no hard feelings. It's none of that, because we have to pay these insurance premiums, because guess what? If towing or roadside assistance just went away because we can't afford insurance, then y'all don't have nobody to come and help y'all in a time of need. Like, it's not the fact that we want to charge these prices. Yes, we might want to be lenient sometimes, but then we have to sit back and think that this commercial insurance policy is not going to pay itself. So it's a lot that goes into making a business whole, and just your COI alone is not the only thing that has to be paid for. We run ads, we have to pay people, we got to use gas, all of those things. We have taxes to pay for. It's a lot that goes into a business outside of just, oh, I'm going to find somebody cheaper. That's fine. You could find somebody cheaper, but I guarantee when you find somebody that's really cheap, 9 times out of 10, they're not seeing a decent profit. They're probably not going to stay in business long, because I've seen that as well. When you're not priced right, you can put yourself straight out of business. So I'm just like, when people call me like, oh, it's too high, I can't afford that. Okay, I can't afford a lot of things. But I also tell people, y'all need to stop buying cars that you can't afford. Like, especially my BMWs and Mercedes. And my bad, video got cut off. Especially with, my foreign cars, people, y'all don't understand how much stuff costs for those cars. And also as well, my EV customers, y'all have to, even though y'all don't have like an actual engine in y'all's car, y'all still have to take care of y'all's car. You still have to, because then they come to me like, why is it so high? Because I'm like, this is a service. This is an emergency service. So again, I tell y'all, EVs don't come with a spare. Again, try to make sure y'all cars are charged before you run out, because then we're coming out, and them EVs are like you don't move those at all. You can't move them like by hand. They either have to be towed, and when you tow them, you're tearing up the car when you tow it, because those wheels don't move, they lock. So they're dragging your car onto a tow bed. So I highly advise against that. But I tell people all the time, you got to take care of your stuff. Or when you call a roadside assistance company, either like me or somebody else, you're going to have to respect the price, because we're coming out to provide a service. You're not factoring in that we got to use our gas, use our tools, buy the supplies you need, especially when you have an on-site tire replacement. I tell people, getting an on-site tire replacement is cheaper than getting a towed to a tire shop. And then you still got to buy a tire when you get there, because your tow is going to cost you about at least $200 minimum. Plus, that's not including mileage. That's usually on average about the hookup fee. Then you still gonna have to put on a tire when you get there. So I tell people, it's cheaper just to pay us to come out, because guess what? You're gonna end up getting your tire included, and then you can drive your car back on home. But anyways, just respect the price. Like when you call, like respect the price. You know, it is what it is. That's why I always say you need to have a little bit of emergency money put away, because you never know when stuff is gonna happen. I didn't caught a flat before in my truck. The only difference is I just so happened to be right next to a Pep Boys and was able to get there. Things happen to me too. Like if I had to pay somebody to come get my truck, hell, the alternator on our van, on our big tire van, went out. We had to pay a tow truck to come and get it. Like, you have to be prepared for these things because you just don't know. So, like I said, when it comes to business, if you're a business owner, a real business owner, you need respect the price, please. Respectfully. Also, too, I'll throw this in here. When people run out of gas and they ask me, why is it so high for me to just bring them 2 gallons of gas? Again, ma'am, you are not factoring in that I got to drive to you, purchase the gas, and depending on where you at, like, you need to understand that this is a service. You're not going to pay the same price that you pay at the pump in an emergency service. You're not. Otherwise, you should have made it to the gas station. Should have made it to the gas station. Then if you want to pay those prices at the gas station, you should have made it there. You shouldn't have ran out of gas. And that's not, trying to be rude or anything, but that's just a fact. That's just a fact. Like when I tell you the price, because my prices are set and they're non-negotiable. I run it strictly like a business. The price is what the price is. I don't chase customers or lower the price just because, I feel bad or anything like that, because I sit back and I think these business bills aren't going to pay themselves, and I'm not going to use my personal money to pay for those things. Just like any of these other big businesses, there are reasons why they charge what they charge. So, yeah. But this is what it is when it comes to business. Maybe I might start doing like a series on what it's like running a business, and then, maybe people will start to get it. Because when you start to see them expenses go out the door, like one of my tow truck drivers, his expenses for the month of June, me and him was talking, was $25,000 alone. I'm actually working on our expenses right now. And I probably might do a story time on our expenses, because it gets expensive running a business. So like I said, respect the price when you're dealing with any business, especially small businesses. Respect the price, pay it or don't pay it. It's not going to hurt our feelings, because we have to get paid in order to keep our business running. Then you got to think, some of these business owners, this is all that they do. So this is funding their business and their personal life.